Tonight on CFTK-TV News, Terrace's RCMP are currently trying to find a missing man. An event is being held at the Knox United Church at the end of April to promote fire safety, and it's been almost a decade since BC declared a public health emergency due to the drug crisis.
Northwest BC's only television news team. We are CFTK-TV News.
Good evening, I'm Cale Maslin, and here's what's making the news in the Northwest and beyond for today. The Terrace RCMP are currently trying to find a middle-aged man that went missing a few months ago. The man that is being looked for is named James Robinson, and he was last seen by his family in October of last year, although it was not specified exactly where he was last seen nor what he was wearing at the time. Robinson's description is listed online as being that of a 58-year-old Indigenous man that weighs about 190 pounds, comes in at around 6 feet in height, and also has brown/gray hair and hazel eyes. Anyone who has useful information that could lead to the discovery of Robinson's whereabouts is asked to give a call to the Terrace RCMP at 250-638-7400 or BC Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477. Coming up at the end of this month, an event is set to be held that will help residents in the Terrace area learn how to better protect themselves and their homes from wildfires. On April 30th at the Knox United Church, an event being referred to as Fire Smart Begins at Home will begin at 7 p.m. and last until 8 p.m., with its main purpose being for both Terrace's Fire Chief Joel Broson and Terrace's Fire Smart Coordinator Kim Service will inform residents on how to best avoid starting fires in or near their homes. Coffee, snacks, and tea will be provided, and everyone who can attend the event is welcome to join, with the chance to draw to possibly win some prizes being available as well. BC recently marked a grim anniversary. It's now been 9 years since the province declared a public health emergency due to the toxic drug crisis, and since then more than 16,000 lives have been lost. CTV's Ben Milger has more from the downtown east side, where advocates rallied for more harm reduction initiatives.
On the front lines of the toxic drug crisis, people gather in Victory Square, mourning the lives lost and calling for change.
He knew that everyone deserved dignity and compassion and respect.
At the age of 60, Jamie Richardson died from toxic drugs just last month.
I'm here today to honor him and to stand with the community about the epidemic that is going on with the toxic drug crisis, stealing our relatives, our loved ones, our communities away from us.
9 years to the day since the province declared the toxic drug crisis a public health emergency, it has claimed more than 16,000 lives. People like Jerry, who left behind a wife of 24 years.
There's so much stuff in the drugs nowadays, right? And it happens so fast.
Indigenous people are nearly 7 times more likely to die from toxic drugs than non-Indigenous people. The chief medical officer of the First Nations Health Authority wants people to remember each person who dies is more than a statistic.
The numbers do not tell the full story of the lives lost or the impact to the families, friends, communities, and nations in the aftermath of these deaths.
She is calling for more supervised consumption sites and better access to safer supply.
It's important to ensure that people stay alive. People who use drugs have access to harm reduction services, and most importantly, that they have a point of connection so that they get the supports that they need.
9 years into the declared emergency, so many continue to mourn lost loved ones.
Rest in peace to my dad. He was the best, and he did not deserve to die due to toxic drugs.
Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
Coming up next, the opposition is getting on the NDP for its record when it comes to handling crime. Welcome back. Donald Trump's tariffs, Western separatist sentiments, feelings about Canada, those were just some of the topics that pollsters tested across the country recently, and polls are currently suggesting that voters are more engaged than before. CTV's Penny Daflos now on the mood in our province.
Springtime splendor is everywhere and plenty of us are out enjoying it, but British Columbians are also keeping close tabs on current events, including the federal election campaign.
And they're more polarized and they have opinions on everything. You know, usually at this point in time, about 15% of people are undecided, but actually the undecided level is basically in the single digits right now.
Nanos research took the temperature of Canadians on a range of issues, including the idea of Western separation. They found nearly 2/3 of respondents take seriously the talk of separatism in provinces like Alberta and Saskatchewan.
The percentage of British Columbians that say that we should not take it seriously is a little higher than the national average. So there's a little more polarization in BC.
When it comes to feelings about Canada, half agreed Canada is a pretty good country that needs improvement, and a third said it's great. Only 16% agreed that Canada is broken.
Canada is broken.
You may have noticed that catchphrase has faded away as threats from the White House grew.
Canada only works as a state.
And patriotic messaging has been resonating with Canadians.
President Trump wants to break us, so America can own us.
When it comes to U.S. tariffs, 60% of Canadians told Nanos they think Canada's response is moving in the right direction. Pollsters are all looking to two key events in the coming days which could change or solidify voting intention. That's the televised leader debates later this week and the Easter weekend.
When voters get together on the holiday weekend and after they catch up with their friends and neighbors, they're going to be talking about what happened in the debates, talking about the election.
General voting day is Monday, April 28th. Advance voting starts Friday. Penny Daflos, CTV News, Vancouver.
Recent high-profile crimes were front and center in the BC legislature as the opposition also hammered the NDP over its record on crime. CTV's Rob Buffum has more.
Crime, including an accused wanted for 10 previous offenses, lighting police officers on fire in the downtown east side, dominated question period.
Shocked to see the video of 2 Vancouver police officers set on fire last week.
Home invasions like a brazen attack last month in Surrey caught on camera, and last week's major fentanyl superlab drug bust also front and center, fueling calls for the province to push Ottawa for tougher bail laws.
How did this NDP government allow BC to become a safe haven for industrial-scale fentanyl production where drug peddling criminals operate with virtual impunity?
Attorney General Sharma points to BC's advocacy on bail reform and says she's pushing for tougher laws from whoever forms the next federal government.
I'll be looking at every example in BC where we think the bail system failed and continue to advocate for the changes that we know we need.
The BC Conservatives also seeking more support for police, accusing the NDP of enabling the violence through failed mental health and addictions policies and support for drug advocacy groups including Dolph.
When the people risking their lives to protect us are under attack and this premier is working against them.
The VPD has flooded the downtown east side with officers and hired more than 200 since 2022. The premier condemning an increase in violence, but also pointing to increased resources being allocated.
We've worked closely with the City of Vancouver to support additional enforcement in the downtown east side to address those issues. We have larger systemic work to do with them.
Still, the startling nature of the latest crimes caught on camera, reigniting calls for tougher bail laws and more support for frontline officers.
While spring sunshine is being enjoyed in Metro Vancouver, the mountains are still icy and treacherous. That's the warning coming from North Shore Search and Rescue as they were responding to several major accidents over the weekend involving people suffering serious injuries. CTV's Shannon Patterson with the story.
This patient, being transferred to paramedics by North Shore Rescue, is one of 3 backcountry enthusiasts who suffered injuries over the weekend sliding down steep, icy slopes.
The only thing that's going to stop you, you're either going to go all the way down until the slope levels out, or you're going to hit something like a tree. And all three individuals hit trees.
While this victim was hoisted up into a helicopter, the other 2 had to be long-lined off the mountain. The injuries have North Shore Rescue reminding backcountry users that elevation changes everything.
Down in the valley, the plants are out, the trees are out, the bears are wandering around, and it's gorgeous, beautiful. Up in the mountains, certainly on the north side of the mountains, in the shaded areas, it's still full winter.
We've got a snowpack that hasn't melted away yet. It's early stages of spring.
which means spring down here, winter up there. So as you gain elevation and you plan on going up there for a little hike, don't forget you're still prepping like it's winter.
That means hiking boots and a walking stick won't cut it.
If you're going into the backcountry at the moment, at the very minimum, you need micro spikes and an ice axe.
You head out for an early hike, you can be hitting icy conditions, slippery conditions, and spring-like conditions that change throughout the day, depending on the aspect that you're playing on, recreating on.
Another tip, wear bright clothing in case rescuers need to find you.
We really want you to think of the what if. What if I break my arm, ankle, leg, smash into a tree? Do I have the abilities, skills to self-rescue? Am I capable of that? Have I even practiced that? Do I even know what that means?
A little preparation goes a long way into ensuring you don't leave the mountain on a stretcher. Shannon Patterson, CTV News, North Vancouver.
And now we take a look at both your nightly and weekly weather forecast. On the north coast, the forecast is expecting to see clear skies with a low at 1 degree. And as for the rest of the week, it is expected to see mixed sun and cloud, then a full sunny day before transitioning to all rain and clouds, while the high shifts from 10 to 6 degrees. In the Terrace-Kitimat area, the nightly forecast is expecting a few clouds, and their low drops to -1 degree, while the weekly forecast expects some sunny days before rain and clouds start to appear as well, and their own high should bounce between 15 and 7 degrees. And in the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District, the nightly conditions are expecting to be clearing up a bit, but with a low at -8 degrees, with their own weekly forecast also starting off with a few sunny days, and seeing clouds creep in at the later part of the week, while the high for them moves from 17 to 9 degrees. Checking out the highways now, visit Drive BC for the latest and up-to-date conditions. As always, drive safe out there. Highway 16 has bridge maintenance between west of Tallel to east of Port Clements, utility work east of Prince Rupert and west of Terrace, ditching east of Prince Rupert, water pooling between east of Prince Rupert to west of Cedarvale, road sweeping west of South Hazelton to Whitsett and west of Smithers, to east of New Hazelton, road maintenance work between Smithers to east of Telqua, pothole repair in Burns Lake, electrical maintenance in Prince George, and the Esk Ferry has been shut down for the season with the cable car in service. Highway 37 has water pooling in Kitimat, frost heaves between south of Belle 2 to the BC and Yukon border, and shoulder maintenance north of Bob Quinn. Highway 37A is dealing with falling rocks in Stewart and between west of Mississauga and east of Stewart. The Dishka Highway has water pooling between Gingolk to Terrace, and the Telegraph Creek Road has muddy sections between Telegraph Creek and the Dease Lake, and a rest area being closed west of Dease Lake. Still to come, an anonymous American is producing ads in Canada that send an apologetic message. Welcome back. 200 contractors working for the Vancouver School Board will have their wages cut by about 25%. The district says it can no longer be a living wage employer for them. A union is calling on the board to reinstate the program. Another concern in the city of Vancouver slashing funding for its school food program. CTV's Isabella Zavarisi has the story.
A healthy lunch isn't something every student in Vancouver has access to. 1 in 5 children in the city go to school hungry, according to one parent advocacy group. A recent decision by the city to roll back its daily lunch program has the group worried that number could grow.
The City of Vancouver, rather than cutting the little tiny $320,000 that they allocate, should be quintupling it. Taking food out of the mouths of hungry children is not a good choice. Really, it's not.
The city's contribution is decreasing from $325,000 to around $162,000 for 2025.
As a trustee, it certainly wasn't within my kind of knowledge to know that the city would be cutting those funds at such a significant amount this year.
The city pointed to budgetary pressures as well as additional funding from the province and feds for the program. But school trustee Jennifer Reddy believes a universal school food plan requires collaboration.
If we're seeing it sort of as an opportunity to have cost savings, as opposed to reflecting the actual food insecurity needs of kids and families, then I think we'll just end up with more of the same, which is a stigmatizing piecemeal approach to delivering school food programs.
It's not the only financial hit facing the Vancouver School District. The VSB will stop being a living wage employer for contractors, including bus drivers and attendants who help children with disabilities.
For the bus drivers who take disabled kids to and from school, their wage will be going from $25.68 to less than $20 an hour. They'll be receiving a 25% pay cut.
The Vancouver School Board says that because of significant yearly fluctuations to the living wage rate, it can no longer certify as a living wage employer in BC. One school board union is calling on both the VSB and the city to restore funding for both initiatives, saying there's no justification for doing so in a time of great need and economic instability. Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
An American who wants to remain anonymous is trying to send Canadians a sincere message from down south. He doesn't like how we're being treated and hopes one tiny word often associated with Canadians will help repair a once solid friendship. CTV's St. Jean Alexander explains.
Often hidden in plain sight, but there for everyone to see. Not a letter, but a short, succinct message made up of just a handful of words that sometimes gets lost as it's shuffled among the big brands. But when pointed out,
"Aww, that's so sweet."
Someone has paid a lot of money for this note. Someone who wants to be nameless. Someone who is an American and doesn't like how the U.S. has treated one of its greatest allies.
It says, "Dear Canada, we are so very, very, very sorry."
I thought how delightful that somebody is actually going to put their money where their mouth is and say how appalling all this is.
The author wants Canadians to know that many Americans are pained by the shots taken at our sovereignty, admitting this will not absolve the U.S. of responsibility. In fact, he feels it's not enough, it's inadequate, but says that does not mean an apology should not be offered.
I mean, it's very kind that someone has taken out a billboard, but it's very sad that it's come to that.
CTV News has been in contact with the writer, but he won't give us his name because he wants this to be seen as American friends reaching out to Canadians.
It's genuine. I think he means it then, that he doesn't want anyone to know. He doesn't want like credit or anything, right?
There are plans for more billboards, we're told, not from a company or organization, but from one person. A personal effort to send a personal message that reflects the feelings of many Americans. St. Jean Alexander, CTV News, Vancouver.
As summer inches closer, many Canadians are planning to stay north of the border for their vacation in a bid to avoid the United States. And recent border numbers are already showing a major decline in traffic. Now BC communities are bracing for a spike in tourists. CTV's Craig Krause reports.
Whether it's on the island, the Okanagan, the Kootenays, or up north, BC has plenty to offer. And with summer inching closer, there could be a wave of tourists staying north of the border.
It'll be BC, but just probably to the Okanagan.
Going to Whistler. I heard there's a beach party there.
Local travel plans, something communities and attractions are preparing for.
We see our booking pace a bit ahead of last year, and last year was a good summer.
I'm really expecting it to be really busy this year. You know, we appreciate that.
BC hotels, short-term rentals, and campgrounds already filling up. And for campers, finding that last available spot has become a bit easier.
Select the trail.
Vancouver-based app CampNap is monitoring cancellations.
They'll open up that availability on their website and that alerts your app.
So what'll happen is when someone cancels, then the status of the campsite changes from unavailable to available.
And this year, with growing demand, the race is on.
I would get on it right now, yes.
And to maintain the health of tourism in the province, Destination BC announced it's investing.
It's nearly $4.2 million in continued cooperative marketing funding that supports over 150 communities and really 13 provincial tourism sectors.
Destination BC is also reporting a year-over-year spike in Americans vacationing in the province this summer. No surprise for many Canadians.
Canada has a lot to offer, so we're okay. We're okay.
Craig Crowe, C2 News, Vancouver.
And now we turn our attention to how the stock markets looked today compared to yesterday. The Canadian dollar is down 27/10 of a cent. The price of gold is up $14.10. Oil is down 30 cents. Natural gas is the same as yesterday. Aluminum is down $22.50. In Toronto, the TSX is up 201.46 points. The Venture Index is up 1.71. In New York, the Dow Jones is down 155.83, and NASDAQ is down 8.32. Still ahead, Blue Origin has made history with its latest spaceflight crew. Welcome back. A star-studded crew of women, including singer Katy Perry, have made history, becoming the first all-female group to blast off into space. They went on a short ride aboard a Blue Origin rocket, the company's 11th mission. With more, here's CTV's John Benavalli Rao.
And here we come. Here we go. Never before has the world seen a group of only women climb into a capsule. 2, 1, ignition. And blast off, headed to just past the edge of space. Liftoff. This, the historic scene. New Shepard has cleared the tower. As a fully autonomous Blue Origin rocket roared skyward. On board 6 women, including journalist Gayle King, pop star Katy Perry, and Lauren Sanchez, the fiancée of Blue Origin founder Jeff Bezos. Sanchez personally chose the other members of the crew.
Mach 1, vehicle is supersonic.
A flight that lasted nearly 11 minutes, and as they reached 0G, King's close friend Oprah Winfrey watched with tears in her eyes.
Taking up space! Woo!
From their capsule, the women could see the Earth below. Katy Perry brought a daisy, which is the name of her daughter, and they all experienced the joy of weightlessness before Perry began to sing What a Wonderful World.
They are cruising back home.
The capsule then parachuting safely back down to Earth. And as they emerged, Katy Perry kissed the ground, as did King.
And now that I've done it, I really do feel I can take on anything.
The crew hopes their trip will inspire other women.
It's about a collective energy in there. It's about us. It's about making space for future women.
Of the more than 700 people who've gone to space, only about 15% have been women, though the flight had its critics.
Is it historic that you guys are going on a ride? I mean, I think it's a bit over the top.
Perry says she plans to write a song about the experience.
And the crew have said they hope everyone gets the chance someday to go on a similar flight. John Benavalli Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
BC is increasing the amount it covers for help like acupuncture, counseling, and massage therapy under the Provincial Insurance Corporation's accidents benefits. The Ministry of Public Safety said a review of accident benefit amounts is required every 5 years and that there will be no increases to basic insurance rates as a result of the changes. The ministry said other changes on the way include family members being eligible for as much as $4,440 in one-on-one counseling when a loved one's injuries are severe. The government says the updated rates apply to healthcare services for accidents that happened before and after May 1st, 2021. The BC Lions recently confirmed that former head coach Larry Donovan has passed away. Donovan became the club's head coach in 1987 and reached the 1988 Grey Cup with the team before being fired in 1989. The Casper, Wyoming native is survived by his wife and their 3 daughters. That's all our news for now. From everyone at CFTK-TV News, I'm Cale Maslin. Thanks for watching.